Let's try this again. Great to have you join us, Professor Usman.
Thank you for having me, Agogo.
Excellent and brilliant, and we hope our engagement with you will have some more information about what and how to improve the security situation in Kaduna State, because you know a lot of people watch the show from Kaduna State. So the governor has, I was watching the other day his brief with the media to break down a dashboard view of the security situation in Kaduna State, and we have several pointers into how, you know, what is going on there is morphing into a full security crisis. Has got terrorists in the works and several things. But let's get your reactions first and foremost, sir, to what is going on based on the quarterly report which was just released.
Yeah, the quarterly report is just data, and they bring it quarterly in Kaduna State. I honestly don't know what to make of that data. I come from academia, and I know the fidelity of data. So you bring up every quarter, you bring up numbers, or this many died, this many this many. I want these numbers humanized. I want us to know the names of these people, where they were killed or maimed or raped, the ages, the demographies, and all this data. So this data to me is just sterile data that is not in any way minimizing the sufferings and the loss of our people. I've been talking about this for years. So for civil servants to come and tell us, oh, these numbers, this record, without humanizing them means little. And many people are saying we may even be underreporting these numbers.
All right.
So Agogo, that's what I got to say.
All right. Thank you for that. Professor Yusuf, if you would say that the quarterly reports to you needs to be humanized, that you feel that some people are of the view that the numbers of casualties are greatly even and underreported, then what are you seeing? Why would you say that? Do you have other information contrary to what the reports always churn out?
Right. I mean, so data depends on how this data was gotten. Collecting data is not an easy thing, especially in our situation. Many of our people, our faith, people die and they are buried as soon as they pass away, as is prescribed in the religion. And what is the presence of government in all of these places? The point I'm making is our people are suffering all over the land, in all the local governments and villages where there is no presence of government. And for us to see this data in Kaduna, we question the fidelity of this data. That's not in any way minimizing the sufferings of our people. Data only makes sense when it is humanized. And when government tells us, well, this is what we are doing, this is what we have done, this is what we will do. 10 were killed last year or last quarter, and 12 were killed this quarter. Why? What have we done wrong? How can we do things better? So just churning out data is meaningless without telling us how we got here, how you're going to get things better. And so it's just glossy catalog that honestly mean nothing to people that know these issues.
All right, Professor Usman, we'll get into those glossy pages after to see what the government is doing or proposing to do to get the picture a lot better for most residents and people in Kaduna State. But what would you say in terms of what the governor says, for example, based on what they've seen, the introduction of terrorists into the narrative? He's mentioned Ansaru, he's mentioned Boko Haram, ISWAP, highlighted in the train bombing that happened in Kaduna State as a clear example of how you now have terrorist elements in the system. What does this say to you as a stakeholder in Kaduna State?
I'm a stakeholder in Nigeria. I mean, so this is not new intelligence. It's not. Boko Haram has been operating in Kaduna for years. This is not new. Ansaru, they literally own Binnungwari, and there was a headline in Daily Trust a few days ago that Ansaru was actively recruiting youths in Binnungwari, and during Salah they were in the villages distributing gifts to recruit youths. So this is not new, and I'm surprised why all this is becoming huge headlines now. Is it a serious problem? Absolutely. We've been screaming about this. And this is what Shogumi and I have been talking about all this time. When we go into the forest, he talks to me with a sense of urgency. We need to get to these people before this Boko Haram gets to them with their twisted religious ideologies. Where they are getting here. But this is not new data. And data is only good if you use it to do better, not use it to blame one agency or the other. As the chief executive of the state, the governor, what have you done over the years to forestall where we are? How have you improved security? How have you engaged people, especially stakeholders like traditional rulers and clerics and elders in communities? So churning out data is meaningless if you don't tell us how we got here, what you're going to do with it.
Right, Prof, if you take a look at efforts being made to really ensure security of lives and property in Kaduna metropolis, the entire Kaduna state to be precise, you wonder why there's still a huge level of insecurity. Why do you think this is the situation at this point in time?
Kaduna is the most strategic city in northern Nigeria. It's the capital city of the whole northern Nigeria. It's at the center. So if anybody wants to create havoc or harm or terrorists, getting Kaduna will be strategic. And we have seen that. Kaduna, the city, the center of the north, is essentially now quarantined. This highway between Kaduna and Abuja, a highway of 160 kilometers, has become highway to hell. And this train, you remember the train attack? So you can't go by road safely. The train is blown up, and by air they tried breaching Kaduna. They tried breaching the airport. So these are all hallmarks of Boko Haram ISWAP. We saw that in Maiduguri. Maiduguri has been without electricity now for 18 months, 17, 18 months, since January last year, because Boko Haram ISWAP blew up transmission line into the city. They've been without electricity. So blowing up or targeting infrastructure is not the hallmark of regular bandits. The danger, and I've been here before, saying that the danger is there is this marriage between these two terrorist groups, the bandits and cousins of Boko Haram, ISWAP or Ansaru. And that is very, very concerning. Kaduna is very strategic. This highway serves as an entrance gate to Abuja from 9 northern states, and the Republic of Niger. So this is a pathway in the north that is the most important. So that is why Kaduna is, and Kaduna now, the security situation in Kaduna is essentially worse than that in Zamfara. So we need to find out why this is happening. Churning out data does not help us. What can we do as a people, collectively, as the executive, as the legislature, as the military, as stakeholders, and as the people? So a chief executive just turning out numbers tell you nothing. It doesn't help anything.